I have the distinct pleasure of reading some of his bio. I will admit I cannot put all of his accomplishments in one proclamation because I was told we have to finish today and we can't extend into Sunday. People have church. I say this because this is a remarkable individual and leader who has contributed beyond what my words could possibly describe to the development of our city, to helping businesses prosper and grow in the state of New Jersey. I will personally share that when I first ran for office, I had the privilege of speaking with him personally and receiving advice, direction, and guidance. I remember when St. Anthony's Church and the ceiling came down, having seen him there personally, working with the parishioners, serving on the board to ensure that the history of the parish, that the work in that mission would not be lost. I have the, again, I'll reiterate the honor of reading the bio in recognition of Paul Digaetano during Italian American Heritage Month. Whereas Paul, the proud son of Passaic, grew up in the city as the son of Italian immigrants who instilled in him the values of hard work and community. After his father's passing, Paul selflessly set aside his dreams of becoming a Navy pilot to take over the family's business. Started with J. Digaetano and Sons Incorporated Construction and Development. He also replaced his father as an auxiliary police officer in Passaic. And whereas Paul began his career in public service by successfully running for the Passaic City Council in 1981, serving until 1996, and as City Council President from 1991 to 1993. He later served with distinction in the New Jersey General Assembly, representing the 36th Legislative District from 1986 to 1987, and again from 1992 to 2006, holding key leadership positions as Majority Leader from 1996 to 2001, and Republican Leader from 2002 to 2003. His work as chairman of the 36th Legislative District brought significant improvements to New Jersey public policy. Paul, if I may, and you'll correct me, I believe you are the only representative out of the city of Passaic to have held the office of Majority Leader. That wasn't added, but I think I recall that in one of our conversations. Whereas during his legislative career, Paul championed key initiatives including the HMO right to sue legislation, mandatory health insurance coverage for women's cervical cancer tests, and more than 50 tax cuts aimed at relieving the financial burden on New Jersey's working poor. He also worked on legislation protecting children from sexual predators, toughening rape penalties, and reforming binding arbitration. And whereas Paul Digaetano sponsored landmark initiatives such as the Senior Gold Prescription Discount Program, the creation of New Jersey's first cord blood resource center, and the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2001. His commitment to public health and safety also led him to secure funding for enhanced newborn testing equipment and author the Brownfields Redevelopment Act, which we have benefited from with our Panaso property, which is now developed on Jefferson Street. Whereas Paul served on multiple commissions, including the Assembly Task Force on Adolescent Violence, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Commission, the Legislative Service Commission, and the New Jersey Commission on Science and Technology, contributing his expertise to policies that benefited the state. And whereas Paul Digaetano exemplifies the enduring values of Italian American heritage through his dedication to his community, state, and country, and he has demonstrated by his military service in the U.S. Naval Reserves, legislative achievements, and commitment to helping others, and whereas he has sponsored holiday toy drives to the Italian American Club of Lyndhurst to bring joy to little children and underprivileged youth in northern New Jersey, and served as the past president of the Patterson Diocese Laity Council and the St. Anthony Roman Catholic Church Council, reflecting his commitment to faith, community, and service. Whereas Paul Digaetano's unwavering commitment to public service and community redevelopment reflects the true spirit of Italian American heritage, his efforts to improve the lives of others through legislative achievements and charitable initiatives inspire future generations to carry on his legacy of giving back. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, Mayor Hector C. Lora, along with our Passaic City Council, our Commissioner of the Board of Education, Marianne Caperci, Unico, do hereby honor Paul during Italian American Heritage Month for his years of dedicated public service and significant contributions to this community and to the revitalization of our city. And whereas he has represented different areas throughout the state of New Jersey, let it also be resolved and added that as mayor of the city of Passaic, I declare him now and always a son of Passaic. We are proud of you and we thank you for all of your work. Sir, please come up and receive your award.
Good morning. I didn't remember all of that, Mayor, but thank you. Let me begin by thanking you, Mayor, City Council, Board of Education, St. Clifton Unico for putting this together. I want to begin by congratulating my fellow honoree Deputy Chief Louis Gentile. Anybody that doesn't know Italian, the word gentile in Italian means kind. It means compassionate. If you want to compliment somebody's demeanor, that's what you say, come gentile. And you could see it in his every word. You know that I didn't pick the order of this program. I would have never chosen to speak after him. But I will try to make it up. This place is very special to me. I've stood in this area, this place, many times in the past, never as an honoree, been at the microphone. This place, as you heard 43 years ago, was where I was first sworn into the City Council. What almost everybody here doesn't know is this place, 42 years ago, is where I proposed to Yvonne, who's here. Now, she may not think that's such a great memory, but in any event, she said yes. That's how our family began. I want to recognize my paternal grandparents and appreciate the fact that they chose this city as their residents from Italy. Nicoletta Paterno and Paolo Lombardi, whom I'm named after. They chose Passaic and they started their family here. I'd like to recognize my mom and dad. As you heard, Dad's gone a long time. But they also chose Passaic to start their family and raise my older brother, my two younger sisters, one of whom is here, Marianne. The other who's not able to be with us, Mom, is not able to be with us either. But at any rate, I thank them for starting their family here and starting the business here, which you heard mentioned a little while ago, which I'm proud to say continues to this day. I'm fortunate to have Yvonne here, and also one of our three sons, our oldest. Michael's here? Okay. Paul's not able to be here, but our oldest, Joseph, is here with his lovely wife, Shannon, who is the newest addition to our family. Well, I shouldn't say that because the newest addition to our family is in her hands, 18-month-old, our grandson, Joseph. Paul's not able to be here. He's in South Jersey. But I see Dr. Mike in the back, and he just got off a shift down at the emergency room in Robert Wood Johnson. I'm very happy to have started our family here. And I'm very happy that my sons are also sons of the City of Passaic. And I thank all of the friends who have come here, and the men and women in uniform. What you probably don't know is, in the late 70s, I was in uniform. Not just the auxiliary police, but the Special Park Police for 2 years. And it was the disbanding of the Special Park Police in 1979 that spurred my interest to run for City Council in 1981. But why are we here today? I'm one of the honorees, and I think a Deputy Chief would agree that we are here not on our own behalf. But we're here on behalf of all the Italians and Italian Americans who are such a great part of this city, a great part of the history of this city, and continue to support this city. Deputy Chief probably doesn't like to hear this, but I will tell you, I know him, or at least I know of him, his entire life. His mom, Ellen Hook, who died very young, was a very big part of this city and this building. And unfortunately, she was taken from us 25 years ago. She was a very special person. And that's how Lewis, Deputy Chief Gentile, came to speak as he did before you. And I know that that beautiful smiling face is looking down with great pride on you today, Deputy Chief. But we are here on what was originally labeled Columbus Day, the 12th. Now it's celebrated on Monday. But it really is a celebration of Italians and Italian Americans. And if you don't know the history of this holiday, you should look it up. Because in 1892, there was the largest lynching ever in the history of the United States of 11 innocent Italians. 11 innocent Italians. And in 1892, President Harrison decided that he needed to do something. I don't say to make up for that, but in the wake of that. And so in 1892, he declared the first Columbus Day on October the 12th, and it wasn't Christopher Columbus's birthday. It was the day he apparently landed in what is now the Americas. Christopher Columbus, who has been the subject of great controversy of late, unfortunately, he was a great explorer. Now think about this. He came in 1492, 530 years ago. Yet, there are those who would apply today's standards and today's laws and today's practices to 530 years ago. In the United States, we don't do that. We don't even do that for 100 years ago. Not for anybody. Yet, there are those who look to take away this holiday, take down Christopher Columbus statue. What it really is an attack on Italians and Italian Americans. Because they don't propose any replacement Italian American for Christopher Columbus. But there are many. Another great explorer, Amerigo Vespucci, who actually landed in the Americas. He's recognized for that. He's a great cartographer as well as explorer. And he drew the first map of what he called the New World. And Columbus was very much a part of designating this, North and South America, as Americas, the Americas, in his honor. That's Amerigo Vespucci. Enrico Fermi, another Italian, came to this country, made his home here. He's a great physicist. And as someone who still has a penchant for engineering, he is well known and recognized for creating the first nuclear reactor. And we could go on and on all morning, all day. We could go on and on for months and months talking about the Italians and Italian Americans who have contributed to this country and this city. In the city of Passaic, I could name you people who served in just about every capacity: police, fire, school board, high school principals, athletic directors, city clerk, councilmen, mayors, county commissioners, state legislators, congressmen. And yes, folks, we have a favorite son of Passaic who still sits as a federal judge. Proud to recognize the city of Passaic as the place of his birth, growing up, and graduated Passaic High School. And just as a little light note, I don't know if any of you listen to radio, but there's a gentleman on the radio. He's an actor. He's a great radio personality, Joe Piscopo, really Joe Piscopo. But when you listen to Joe talk, he'll always speak about being born in the city of Passaic. He wasn't raised here. He lived not far from here, but he still talks about being born here. He's very proud of it. Now, just to close on Columbus, 530 years ago, just a fact that many people don't recognize. Man of vision and courage, probably like none others, except those who followed him. His ship, the flagship of his 3-ship fleet, was no bigger than from where I'm standing to across the street. And the other 2 ships were half that size. Now, could you imagine traveling across the Atlantic Ocean in ships those size? And we didn't have the modern technology. They didn't know where they were headed. They didn't know what was the end of the earth. Many people thought that somewhere at the end of the water they would fall off the earth, but they didn't. Those were great Italian explorers. And for their exploration, we're here, and the greatest country in the history of this world was founded. Now, there's so many Italian Americans to talk about, but I'm not going to continue on that, who are connected to the city of Passaic. But they're a great part of building this city and its rich history. Why did they come here? They came here, yes, they came looking for a better way of life, as many do today. But they also came to make this city and this country better and stronger for their children, grandchildren, and all their descendants. This country and this city was built by many different immigrants. And while maybe the nationalities have changed over the last several decades, the city and this country is still made up of hard-working people who came here to make a better life for themselves, but yes, to improve their new-found country, residence, and city. And while the Italian American population in the city of Passaic may have decreased somewhat over the years, I thank you, Mayor, Council, Board of Education, and Passaic Clifton Unico for keeping the memory of lives. For all those who call the city of Passaic home. And in closing, Mayor, no matter where I live, and no matter when somebody asks me, Paul, where are you from? I still say, the city of Passaic. I thank you for remembering and recognize all those sons and daughters of Passaic, Mayor, who have Italian ancestry. And I wish each of you a wonderful day celebrating that Italian American heritage. And in closing, I just want to say you heard some of the legislation that I sponsored. There are 2 pieces that come to mind today. One is the designation of the city of Passaic as an urban enterprise zone some 30 years ago. And that still benefits the city of Passaic. And the other was almost the last piece of legislation that I had passed as the majority leader in the Assembly, and that is the creation of the Italian American Heritage Commission, which was originally designated the Commission on Italians and Americans of Italian Heritage. And the purpose of that commission, which still exists today in the state government, was to develop a curriculum to educate all those who wish to learn about the contribution of Italians and Italian Americans. On behalf of all those Italians and Italian Americans who came before me, Mayor, and who will come long after me, I thank you, the City Council, the Board of Education, Passaic Clifton Unico, and I am proud to accept this honor on their behalf.